Hey guys, welcome to Mommy Mondays, episode number 2. Today I'm going to be talking about being a mom of boys, or a boy. I am Gabriel and Emma's mom. So I only have one boy, but I did ask some questions to my friends of boys. So each of my friends has about 2 or more boys. I only have the one, but I wanted to see if I asked these questions, if I could relate to any of their answers. So I thought it would be interesting. So today it's going to be more of like an interactive kind of video. I did ask my friends these questions, and then this is what they said. So we're going to go over the 5 questions, and then we're going to go over the answers to each of the questions, and then see if I can relate to any of them. And that's all. So today we're just going to have like a little mommy chat, and that's basically what Mommy Mondays has been so far. I do plan on like branching out and doing some other stuff, but as of now, it's been more of a chatty kind of segment. So you can put me on in the background if you'd like. Sometimes I do that with videos. I kind of just have it on in the background, so my mind's kind of like listening, but also I'm doing stuff. Kind of like a podcast, sort of. Question number 1 says something good about being a mother of boys. So I'm going to be reading my friends' answers, and then I'm going to talk how I can relate or not relate, or if I agree or don't agree kind of thing. So Suzette, hi Suzette, thank you for writing in, says how chill they are. I do feel like my son is pretty chill overall, like for the most part. I didn't feel that way when he was younger, for sure. He was like this big ball of energy, and I actually loved it though, because I would just be after him, and we played a lot, so there's a lot of energy there. But I feel like the older he's getting, the more chill he is being. So I can agree with that. Maddie says, hi Madeline. They will never have to be teenage girls. Ooh, that's a good one. However, that's controversial to me because I have a girl, and eventually I'm gonna have to go through those teenage girl years, which I don't know if I'm looking forward to. But to be fair, I'm not looking forward to the boy teenage years either. I'm nervous about both. So I hear you, but I'm gonna have to go through that. If you guys can relate to anything that my friends are saying, also please leave your comments down below. It would be funny to kind of read what other mommies think. Thank you, Maddie. Next, Gabby, my cousin Gabby. Hi, Gabby. Thank you for writing in. She says, they are simple. Clothes-wise, there isn't much to think about. Options are short and sweet. They are loving and full of energy. All right, well, I'm going to break this one down a little bit. They are simple. I do think my son is actually a very simple like guy, very simple kid. He just like wants what he wants. Like he knows what he wants, and I feel like as a girl, we are very indecisive, or we want like so many things that we can't decide. And I do go to my son for a lot of options. Like if I can't decide something at the store, I'm like, hey Gabriel, what do you think? And he'll be like, that one. And that's it. Like simple, everything's simple. And clothes wise, there isn't much to think about. That is also true. My son is actually able to like dress himself now, but yeah, before it was like, it wasn't really a big decision or a big deal. And I did feel that way. Like I always wanted to like dress him up and like, you know, little things, but boys don't even have that many accessories either. It's just like maybe a hat. When I would dress him up for like church, I would put like a little bow tie or like shoes. So yeah, very simple, short and sweet, everything kind of to the point. And then you probably can spend more time on yourself getting ready, which is cool. But I also have a daughter, so I do tend to also really focus on what she's gonna wear, and like I love that. I love like girl clothes and things. So I get you. Yeah, for sure boys are more simple. And then they are loving and full of energy. For sure. My son is super loving. I feel like he tells me I love you all the time. Like I haven't even like kept count throughout the day. Maybe I should. I mean, four or more times out of the day I hear, I love you, mommy, I love you. Definitely very loving. If I'm sick or anything like that, he like covers me with a blanket or tries to like, you know, take care of me. He'll even like fill my forehead and all the cute little stuff. He's very loving. And then he'll pick me flowers from like outside, which is sweet. So yes, loving. And I already talked about the energy. Boys have a lot of energy to burn. So I think that that is still very true to my son as of now. So my friend Sam, hi Sam, thank you for watching. Thank you for sending in your answers. She also is a fellow YouTuber, so she has a channel, and I will be sure to link it in the description box down below. She is also a mommy channel. Definitely great content over there. You guys should all go check it out. Link in the description box down below. So Sam says they are mama's boys. I feel like this is so true. They always say like mama's boys, daddy's girls, which is super true. I can totally say that that is 100% true. My son is more about me and spending time with me, and like just he's all about me, which is great to have somebody that's just, you can just always know that he's gonna be all about you and wanting to spend time with you and talk to you and just mom, mom, mom. So it's nice. It's super nice. And for sure, my daughter is all about her dad, like snuggles, everything. But she knows, like, if she needs somebody to like do something, or like if she needs anything else, they know who to go to, and that's most of the time it's mom, to get things that they need, and just like that nurturing feeling, definitely go to mom. So I hear you, for sure, mama's boys. Next, something hard about having a boy. So I just want to throw a little disclaimer out there. Just because we say something is hard does not mean that we do not love our boys. Obviously, with parenting, there's good, there's bad, there's hard, there's everything in between. So I just wanted to throw that disclaimer out there, because we do love our kids. Suzette says they often don't believe how beautiful they are. So I feel like that is a big thing, not only with boys, but just us in general. A lot of the times, like, we don't believe how beautiful we are, or we don't see how wonderful of a person that we can be. And I think that that is something you want to build in our kids, you know, like their self-esteem, their confidence in themselves, and that they are beautiful and wonderful gifts. And I hear you, I get this. So, I mean, keep pushing. We should all keep pushing to make sure that our kids have a wonderful self-esteem, and that it just grows with us as we go. Because, I mean, we all need a really high self-esteem to keep ourselves afloat in our everyday lives, because people are always going to want to like tear you down and say things to you. And I mean, not only that, but once people say that, then you start thinking those things are either true, or doubting yourself, or even, I mean, like, most of the time we're our worst enemies. Like, or even right now filming this, I'm like, oh my god, like these little double chin lines bug me, and it's something that like I notice, but maybe not everybody notices. Now that I pointed it out, it's going to be obvious throughout the whole video, but that's like, that's something that I'm thinking about, you know? So I mean, yeah, I get you, for sure. Our kids need to know how beautiful and how wonderful of a person they are. So yes, I like that. All right, Madeline says, at one point there will be teenage boys. So yeah, yes, I hear you on that. That is something that I think about constantly. And that actually, that thought kind of even inspired this video in a sense, because I had to go out and buy my son his first deodorant. I didn't think I was gonna have to deal with that till he was like 15. Like, I don't know how guys mature. Like, I know, you know, one day I'm gonna have to like deal with my daughter going through like her first period. So that's just like teenage years and like heartbreaks and all these kinds of things, but I don't know anything about like the stuff that goes on with a dude's body. So I had to go and buy him a deodorant, and I was like, oh my gosh. Like, he smelled like armpits one day, and I was like, oh, like, you stink. Like, go take a shower. So yeah, the fact that they're gonna be teenage boys one day, it scares me too. I'm just like, I don't know how I'm gonna deal with that. Like, lots of praying, I'm assuming, lots of talking to other moms, like, what are you going through? What are you doing? What do you think? But yeah, teenage boy stuff. I don't know. I hear you on that. Okay. So my cousin Gabby says, thinking about how one day they'll be someone's husband. I have to make them strong, help them with their abilities, and teach them how to be men. Yeah. This is conflicting as a mom since our instinct tends to be caring, loving, and maybe even babying. So true. So many good points here. Yeah, one day they're going to be somebody's somebody. And that is something like nerve wracking. And you do want to make sure that they have the tools and that they are these wonderful people. Also, I think that we're only half of that journey, you know? Like, I don't think that we completely shape our kids. I mean, if you think about it, eventually, you know, they're going to get to like school, they're going to make friends, they're around other adults. And also, like, whoever you're hanging around, if most of the time your kids are with you, so they're also hanging around, and just how you present yourself. And there's just so many factors. But I think that us as moms, like, we're just half of that journey, or us as parents, like, we're just half of that journey, and then the rest is up to them. And you just hope that you gave them enough tools and you kind of send them on their way. And I think that's also a very scary part, is like one day we are going to be separated from our babies, and they are going to be out there in the world, and they're always going to be our kids, they're always going to be our babies. And I feel like our mom journey is like never over, because even now to this day, like, I ask my mom for advice. I talk to her so much, and I feel like now as an adult, like, I'm so much more aware of our relationship, and like I ask her for about everything before I kind of make a step forward, because I like to have that opinion and kind of like, well, this is what I was thinking, but what do you think? So I think that we're only half of that journey, to be honest. And yeah, we want to make sure that we give them those tools and abilities to carry on throughout their lives. Like I always said, like, okay, once he turns a certain age and is old enough, I want to show him how to cook. I want to show him how to clean. I want to show him how to take care of himself, so that he's not depending on anybody else, and that he knows that he can like be strong and independent and do those things. And also, you know, one day that he gets married, to help his spouse, for sure. Teaching them how to be men. Yes. Like, this is such a big thing. I'm like, I don't know how to teach you how to be a man. Like, you know, you think of how men are, well, I don't think everybody's raised the same. It depends your upbringing, but you do think how men are more of, kind of like, some of them have like that macho perspective, where it's like, you know, you gotta be the one in charge, and your wife is the one that does this, this, and that. But then there's also those men that I've seen that are actually very helpful to their spouse, and you know, you guys are like on the same level, which is more, I think, of a modern day point of view, as opposed to like we're Hispanic. So if you think about it, like, the wife does everything, the mom does everything at home, and then the husband would go and work. So that's very like old school, old fashioned mentality, which still happens depending on, you know, your upbringing, and then also who you marry and what their upbringing is. So I think that that's for sure, how to teach them how to be a man is also very, that's something that I think about too. I'm like, well, how am I supposed to teach you how to be a guy? Like, I'm a girl. I don't know what guys do. I don't know, you know. But I think if you think of it as what you would want from a guy, then it's kind of a little easier to be like, okay, well, I want you to be caring. I want you to be loving. I want you to, you know, go on the dance floor if we're going to go out, you know, or if you have like a family party. Like, you don't want that guy that's going to be sitting at the table and not wanting to dance with you. Just like different things. I don't know. You want a guy that's going to want to give you flowers and be sweet and caring, but also strong and can take care of you. So there's like a lot of aspects. But it's like, how do you give them all these tools, and how do you make them into these men, you know? So I think we all have to do our best. And yeah, it is super conflicting. As a mom and as a woman, like we are genuinely more caring, more sweet, more babying, and I get that. And boys are supposed to be more like, tough. So I hear you. Okay, Sam says, I think this is in general because kids have a hard time dealing with their emotions. To be fair, I think all of us have a hard time with our emotions sometimes. She said, I would say tantrums or getting them to calm down before talking to them is tough. Yes, tantrums. Ooh, this is a big one. For sure, tantrums, I would say, are like a huge thing. Before, when I wasn't a parent, I would be like staring down people in the stores, like, oh my god, their kid is crying, and like look at them throwing themselves on the floor, and oh my gosh, they want this and that, and like, you know, judging them. But now it's like I am one of those people, It doesn't happen all the time, but when it does happen, it is kind of embarrassing and hard. And even if it's not happening to me, but it's happening to somebody like around me now, I'm just like, it's okay. Like I feel you. Like I want to go over there and just like squeeze you and be like, you're doing a great job. Like I know what you're going through. And when you get home, like once the kids are in bed, have a little glass of wine, maybe take a bubble bath. You deserve it after that tantrum. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody, but like for sure, I hear you. And also calming them down. It's like a form of art. Like once you figure out your kid and what soothes them and what helps them to come down after, throwing their tantrum in their fit, like sometimes I just ignore my kid. Like mostly it's my daughter that's now throwing the tantrums because she's younger and she's still kind of learning that whole I'm not going to always get my way thing, and that's okay. But yeah, for sure tantrums are a big thing, and like yeah, calming them down, it's all tough. I think just being a parent in general is tough, and we're all going to kind of go through all these crazy things. But yeah, so next time you see a fellow mom or parent just going through a tantrum, just tell them like, hey, you're doing a good job. They'll get over it once they see something else. Like they just do. It's so funny how they just automatically can go from like extremely mad to like nothing even happened. So yes, all right. Something funny about having a boy. All right, Suzette says they are candid, straightforward, spirits, and tell funny jokes. For sure, my son is very straightforward. If he sees something different, like if I've cut my hair, he's like, whoa. Either he likes it, he doesn't like it. This also has helped me because I'm very indecisive about things sometimes. And I'll be like, okay, what do you think? And he'll just straight up, whatever it is, he just says it. So yeah, I can agree with that 100%. He is very straightforward. And I think some women are also. It's not just a guy thing, but for sure he is very straightforward. So I hear you on that. And yeah, he does try to tell funny jokes, which is funny because he's still in that stage of like, he thinks he's telling a joke properly, but he's not. And he's like, you get it? Ha 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 ha. And like expecting me to laugh, which I do. Obviously, like you want to laugh at their jokes, but sometimes they just they don't make any sense, which is so cute. Yeah. He's a funny guy, and then he also likes to be kind of the center of attention sometimes, so he'll like dance around or make funny faces, or he's really loud. So yeah, I hear you on that. For sure, boys are hilarious. Maddie says they can appreciate a good fart joke. I think that this has become like a thing. I think everybody can secretly appreciate a fart joke. Because not everybody, you don't want to be out in public and be like, farting or whatever in front of other people, but in your house and around your, family, it's kind of like a funny thing, or it could be a really gross and disgusting experience. So it's just, you never know. Like, for example, if my daughter does a little toot, we all kind of giggle, or if my son does it, we're like, whoa, and just, it's funny. So I hear you on the fart jokes. I think they're always secretly funny unless they stink really bad. Then clear the room. All right, Gabby says, I used to be criticized when I was younger because I like all these boy toys. LOL. Cars, marbles, army men. But my mom always said that they're not boy toys. You are a girl and toys are toys. And here I am, a mom, a woman, and a parent of boys, happily playing soccer, Nerf blaster wars, and on the game console. I laugh. God knew what he was doing, and I see it all as preparation. So definitely, I think this is one of those controversial topics, just because it depends, again, like your upbringing and what you actually think and what you want to instill on your kids. So like the fact that there are boy toys or girl toys, or just, everything has like a gender to it. I think that now that concept is actually changing a lot, where it's just like people don't want to gender, how do you say that? They don't want to place a gender on their kids, like that gender restriction. But I think this also comes from a very traditional point of view. So I do also struggle with this a lot. So it's more like just how you want to raise your kids to think. But I do feel like this topic is more, has become more modern and has changed. So nowadays you see like people will give their son Barbies, or let them play with whatever they want to play with, dress however they want to dress. But again, it just depends on how you've been raised and how you also want to instill, these thoughts and like genders on your kids. But yeah, I think I struggle with this a lot too, because like my husband has more of like a traditional kind of point of view. So it's more like don't let him play with Emma's Barbies, because that's not what boys do. And like obviously also when he was growing up, my son, I would play like cars, and I would be getting dirty, and we would play, outside and like run around with the ball and all these kinds of things, and also video games and stuff like that. So I do get that. Like I do also play all the boy stuff, but I do think that this is very like a controversial topic, because not everybody has those modern views. And then it also kind of can like roll into the whole thing of that fear of like homophobia, like, will your kid turn out gay because they're playing with girl toys and stuff like that. So I think it just depends on your point of view. I don't want to get into this topic too much, just because I feel like it's a very controversial and sensitive topic. But I think that that's great that you're letting your kids express themselves and be themselves. And I think that that's something that we should all do, not put that kind of like pressure on them, or put that kind of like trava, that kind of like that wall of like, you can only do this and you can only do that because you are a boy or you are a girl. Because I mean, ultimately we decide who we are and what we're going to be and who we love and all these things in the end. So I think as long as we're just there for our kids and love our kids and let them be kids, then we should be okay. Right? This is very controversial. I didn't want to get too deep into this, so we're going to move on to the next person. Sam says, they can act so goofy. So yes, my son is a very, very big goofball, but I feel like also I am. Like I love to make people laugh, and I think he's the same way, which most of the time I don't care like what I look like, and that's probably half of the time why people are laughing is how I'm actually looking while I'm doing whatever it is I'm doing. But he's the same way. He's a very big goofball. All right. Next question is a fear or concern about having to raise a boy. So about raising boys. Suzette says, a fear I have is them experiencing a heartbreak. Yeah, for sure. I think every parent probably has this kind of fear, and you don't want them to experience that, just because like we all have to experience it at some point. Um, but I think as long as you're like there for them, to give them that shoulder to cry on, or give them the ear to listen, and then also kind of explain to them that it's not like the end of the world, and that, the right person will come along eventually. Because I think everything, when you're younger, everything feels like it's just the end of everything, like of life as you know it. So I think as long as we're there to just give them that ear and that support when they need it, they should be fine. And it's, I mean, I think that sometimes that's how it goes. Like, you have to experience these things to understand yourself better and what you expect and what you want from a person. And then also, like, just maybe that helps you grow up a little bit. And like, all those heartbreaks at the end of the day don't define you, like, they make you understand what you're going to want from your future spouse and the person that you're going to love. So I think it's good and bad that we experience heartbreak in life, but it is something that we all have experienced at some point. And I'm sure that when we went through it, we thought that it was like the end of the world. And then you find somebody that actually appreciates you and treats you the way you want to be treated and loves you and is there for you, and then the rest of it just kind of melts away and you forget about it. So for sure, heartbreak, I think, is going to be a very big one, and we'll see how it goes. Madeline says, trying to get them to understand they can't take off their pants every place we go. That is hilarious. My son didn't really do too much of that. My daughter's the one that's doing that. Girl just likes to be wild and free. So I get that. Like, for sure, that's something that they just have to learn. And it's probably just a phase. Because obviously once they get older, they're going to probably be like embarrassed to be taking off their pants everywhere they go. They might do it when they get home, but they won't do it when you're out in public. So I think it's just a phase. Gabby says, definitely girls. Yeah, for sure. That's a big one. And making sure what they want for themselves and what is best for themselves is the same. Yes, for sure, girls, I think, will always be a fear, just because you want them to make good choices and find good people and, make good choices. But for sure, I think that if we all kind of like instill on them to have their idea of what a good person is, and then also not only that, but actually, like, eventually, if it's serious, meet like their parents, know their background, know how their family live, because that's going to be what that person expects out of you. That will be a big factor in helping with, choosing the right person. But I mean, they're going to probably go through phases of like dating people. And yeah, I think that's for sure, that's going to be a scary experience. And hopefully you put we all put a good head on their shoulders, that they make a good choice in the girl that they're dating, person that they're dating. And yeah, for sure, girls are a huge thing. And yeah, also thinking about what they want for themselves, knowing themselves, and knowing what's right and wrong, and having them choose the right things. That's always going to be something that we're going to want for our kids. But let's face it, like, all of us make mistakes. All of us don't always make the right decisions, and we're not perfect. But I think if we just instill in them that we're going to love them no matter what, and like, we're here to back you up no matter what, I think that even if they make those wrong decisions, they're going to understand it better than if you're not even there for them to support them through whatever it is that they're going through. So, I mean, now that I'm an adult, like, I can honestly say, like, wow, I wish I would have listened to my mom when she told me whatever, you know? And I think we just have to kind of understand that we're always going to want to do things, like, always want to learn things the hard way, and we are going to make those mistakes. But as long as we're there for our kids and we tell them, like, hey, you know, like, I've been there, this is what I think, or, you know, like, I'm listening and I'm here for you, and, like, all these kind of things. If we instill that in them, that they know that we're there to support them 100%, no matter what, then I think that they'll be okay. Right or wrong decisions that they make, it's just part of growing up and learning things. So for sure, I hear you on that. Samantha says, I just want to raise them to be gentlemen, to always be aware of how others feel and how they feel too. Their feelings are so important. Yeah, for sure. I've always thought that too, like, that we need to raise gentlemen. And hopefully we all do. Like, I think it's just so hard because, like I said before, we're only part of the person that they're going to be, you know. At the end of the day, they're going to be the ones having to make those decisions, and they're also going to see other people, how they live and how they treat people. And then, you know, you hope that they have, like, good friends that are good people and that are, you know, also raised well. But we're only part of it. So that's, like, hard. You know, you want to make sure that our part of them growing up is as positive and as, like, as perfect as we can possibly be, you know. But for sure, yes, I definitely would like my son to be more of a gentleman, you know, like, hey, open the door for your girl and, you know, help clean up and, like, all these things. You want them to do all these things. And you just kind of show them that they need to see all those things, because sometimes actions speak louder than words. So I think we just have to do our best. We want all these things for our kids, and hopefully they see that and understand that. And maybe they won't understand it, you know, right now or in their teenage years. But when they become dads and when they become, like, adults and husbands, they're going to be like, I get you. I see what you know, did all these years for me. Like, all this time I thought you were being a pain in the butt, Mom, but, like, you were just looking out for me. They'll understand it one day once they get past everything and they get to where we are. So yes, for sure. And feelings are definitely very important. How we feel about ourselves, how we make others feel. I get that. That's definitely a big thing. And I feel like it's just when they go through whatever it is, or they have that opportunity to make somebody feel something, watching how they actually treat that person in that moment will be a very big factor. And then also correcting them if they're not being sensitive to somebody's emotions, or if they don't understand how they're treating somebody, to kind of correct them in that moment and then continue to correct them and show them. It's just like with my son and my daughter, you know, like, my son has these constant, like, he has the want to be a little bit more rough and tough with her, and she can handle it, for sure. Girl can handle it. But sometimes, you know, I want him to see, like, you know, you need to be a little bit more gentle and a little more sensitive, because you don't know how she's feeling. Or would you like for somebody to treat you the way that you treated her? And sometimes he'll tell me, like, no, I wouldn't want to be treated that way. And it's like, okay, well then don't do that, because that's not nice, you know. Like, you kind of try to correct them as you go. So yeah, feelings are definitely very important. Okay, so the last question is, what is your favorite part about being a mom of boys? So Suzette says, how sweet they are. I get at least 4 I love yous in a day. Yes, for sure, that is totally true. My son says I love you constantly, and he is a very, very loving and caring person, and he's just sweet. He's a sweetheart, and he just makes friends with, like, everybody he meets. So yes. Madeline says, I don't know if it's different between boys and girls, but they have an awesome sense of humor. Yeah, for sure. My daughter isn't at that age yet where she would like make a joke, so I'm not sure about that yet. But I'm sure that, I'm sure girls also have a big sense of humor. But yeah, for sure, boys are just silly and constantly just silly. Like they just want to be making you laugh. Gabby says, my favorite part of having boys, all of it. But I believe the greatest joy will be when I see them as dads. I believe then I will see how I help them become. Yeah, I was thinking about that once I read it. Once she sent me the answer, I was thinking about that. And honestly, I think that I'm probably gonna get emotional when that day comes. If he does decide to have kids, because some people don't really want kids, and that's their choice. But yeah, I mean, for sure, like just seeing them being adults, like, graduating high school and moving on to like being adults, like just all of it, just to see if, what you try to instill on them actually stuck. Yeah, for sure. I think that'll be a great day, and hopefully, it's nothing but great, Sam says, the snuggles and hugs, also getting flowers when we are out playing. Yeah, for sure. Boys are very snuggly and cuddly, and just my son is very like that. Like he just wants to be hugging me all the time, wants to be on me all the time. And then also, yeah, when we're out playing outside, he brings me flowers, or he'll take like my mom flowers, or even give his sister flowers, which is like so sweet. So yeah, I think all of these things were relatable at some point. This video is already super long. I hope you guys are just listening to it in the background. Thank you everybody that participated. Thank you guys so much for answering the questions. I feel a little better because I feel like now I talk to other mommies that are going through the same kinds of things, same kind of concerns, same kind of like joy and just experience as being moms of boys. I would like to do this on the opposite end and also do mom of girls, but pretty much everybody I know has boys. So I would have to see and like really search around for somebody that has girls. But my daughter's still very young, so I don't think there's too much that I've experienced yet. But for sure, my son, like, I can relate to all these things that you guys are talking about. And thank you guys so very much for sending in all of your answers. And thank you guys so much for watching. And please be sure to like and subscribe to our channel. My kids make awesome videos and you will enjoy them. We have other videos in the description box down below. Don't forget to check out our friend Sam, also in the description box down below. Give the video a thumbs up and we'll see you guys on another Mommy Monday. Bye!